Pick a target.
You pick it.
Take your pick.
Pick me! Pick me!
I did not pick. There was no pick.
Pick him up. You pick him up.
Pick.
I pick.
Pick me, pick me, pick me.
Pick the teams.
Pick one, jerk.
All right, obviously a shorter slate this week, so we can get a little more into some of these games. They're on Wild Card Weekend. 6 games on the slate, 2 done, 4 to go. We'll start with yesterday's games, and the playoff opener was the Houston Texans at 10-7 hosting the Cleveland Browns.
He's going to go all the way. Brevin Jordan to the end zone. Touchdown. My goodness.
So I looked this up, or I saw this on Twitter. The Houston Texans, that 4:30 Saturday slot, it's always the first wild card game. The Houston Texans, who have not existed, all that long, have played in that slot 6 times. Nobody else has played it more than twice. And the Texans haven't even made the playoffs that much. You think about they played it 6 times. That is officially like the Houston Football Invitational, and they took care of business 45-14.
That game, like I said to you last week, I thought the Browns were legit, contenders. I think not having Chubb showed up for the first time. I think if they had a ground game, it would have stayed a little closer. And once things I didn't say get out of hand, they were down like 14. Once Cleveland became one-dimensional, it was over. They were just eating off Joe Flacco, and they pushed that game out of reach. But man, their run, man, is scary, reminiscent of 01 Patriots, man.
A little bit.
It's got something. It's quarterback not out of nowhere. I mean, he knew he was going to be good, but that good, that fast. And man, if they had Tank Dell, they'd be a machine right now. But that's a scary team, man. That's a scary team to watch. But I was really impressed by Houston yesterday.
I said this earlier. I'll say it again. This is the blueprint for the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
First-year head coach. Former linebacker, had success. You go out, you get the rookie quarterback. It's not like they have this, amazing plethora, this amazing superstar receiver there. They just have a bunch of good, solid pass catchers around C.J. Stroud. The Patriots can get to where the Texans are. It's not, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not super unrealistic either. So the more you watch the Texans, think about, how the Patriots can maybe reflect that as they go through this offseason, maybe next offseason. All right, and then we had the frozen field, the Peacock Bowl, with the 11-6 Chiefs and the 11-6 Dolphins.
We just can't be a bunch of front runners.
Is that Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that go? Chiefs roll 26-7, and the feel-like condition I think was -30. Patrick Mahomes' helmet cracked, which was wild. Do you know that the Patriots beat more teams who finished over 500 this year than the Dolphins did?
That's bad. You got to be kidding me.
We just can't be a bunch of front runners.
Yeah, you were. You can't be, but you were. I'll say this: somebody online, I think it was Matt McCarthy or Dan Lischatz last night, said the Browns were exposed as frauds. I just think, like, philosophically, the Cleveland Browns cannot be frauds because they're not. I look at a game like that and I don't think, oh wow, the Browns are frauds. I look at it and I'm like, all right, it's the Cleveland Browns. They're losing a game. Like, this is what happens. I don't think the Browns can be frauds. I think you have to have a baseline level of success in order to be a fraud organizationally. Mm-hmm. Miami Dolphins, frauds. Mike McDaniel, fraud.
Yeah, that's a team we looked at as the Super Bowl team to beat halfway through the season. No one's beating this team. No one's stopping this offense. And then, like you said, they beaten, had it got to be, 1-2 teams with a winning record? That's fraudulent. When you lose to every good team you play while be considered a Super Bowl champion, that's fraudulent. The Browns came out of nowhere. When we heard about Deshaun Watson, we wrote them off then. They're done.
Right.
And then Flacco kind of brought them back alive, but I think their lack of talent caught up with their injuries caught up with them yesterday. And they lost to a decent Houston team. Miami losing, that's the second time this year I think they lost to Kansas City. They lost Kansas City in Germany, I believe, wherever they were. And they're a very fraudulent team. All that talent, I know, I understand. You had a quarterback from Hawaii who's playing within Alabama and then played in Miami, and you're asking him to go out there and throw lasers and it's -30 in the wind chill.
Fraud.
Quarterbacks' helmets are cracking. It came out fraudulent, but Hey, you got to win enough games to get that game at home, and maybe you had a better chance. Your fraudulent activities what led to you playing in Kansas City yesterday.
I will say this. The Chiefs kind of have that 2018 Patriots thing going on where, like, they struggle down the stretch, but, are they just going to click? Is it all just going to work here? I wouldn't put it past them. All right, let's get to today's games. No 1 o'clock game. They had to move the game in Buffalo. We'll get to that in a minute. 4:30, we got the 9-8 Green Bay Packers taking on the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, shove it up your ass, Alex Barth.
Still love that. Maybe a ringtone for a friend or two of mine now. Thank you, Felger. The line in this one, the Cowboys 7.5-point favorites at home. Second highest total of the week at 50.5 points.
Cowboys better win this game. They better win this game. You think there's a lot of attention on the Patriots offseason. Let the Cowboys lose this game to Green Bay, and it's on. We're not even going to hear about who wins the Super Bowl. No one's going to care. It's all going to be about the Cowboys. You talk about fraudulent. Let them lose, and you get the definition of frauds right there. They better win this game. I'm picking them to win, but they lose to the Packers. There's going to be a lot of vacancies. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. Now. They have to win this game.
So two things on this game. First off, Packers, Cowboys, 4:30 on a Sunday, playoff game. That's football right there, man. I wish it was at Lambeau, but let Buck and Aikman come back and call this one. There's some real nostalgia with this. You know who's rooting hard for the Green Bay Packers, I would think?
Belichick.
Bill Belichick. And we'll get into Belichick's future in a little bit, but Mike McCarthy gets the boot. Oh, boy, do things get interesting. And then tonight we got the 10-7 Rams at the 12-5 Detroit Lions, the NFC North champion Detroit Lions. I'll say that while I can.
At the same time, I'm not a stranger to the situation and understanding that I'm the bad guy coming to town. I'm on the other team.
Matt Stafford going back to Detroit. Jared Goff, facing his former team too. Ton of fun storylines in this one. Lions 3.5-point favorites, 52-point total in this one. Cerrone, do we get a shootout?
I think you can get one. I think it's on the table. I mean, those Rams receivers they're electric, man. But I want to pick Detroit so bad, but everything in my life says don't. Everything I've seen, even if Barry Sanders or Herman Moore was out there, I don't think I'd pick them. But I want Detroit to win so they don't end up in that fraud category with everybody else. But I think Detroit, I like them from the way they started the season. I like the way they finished last season. But I think Detroit should win this game. But their injuries they sustained last week are kind of what's scaring me about this team.
So I just saw a report on Twitter. It's off my timeline now, so I didn't see who tweeted. I think it was Rappaport. It was Rappaport that Sam Laporte is trending in the right direction of play. So that would obviously be big. But losing to Matthew Stafford in their first home playoff game, and
that's bad.
Right? It's just 2 lines. So give me the Rams. And then we go on to Monday. And we'll start with the 10-7 Steelers at the 11-6 Bills.
And that is why I'm pleased to announce the NFL has agreed with our assessment that we need to postpone tomorrow's playoff game until 4:30 p.m. Monday afternoon.
So 2 things can be true here. Moving the game, and you see the pictures coming out of Buffalo. I mean, nobody's going to be able to get around. Moving the game for the safety of the fans and the people who have to work at the game, right move. Correct move.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills being soft and getting absolutely bailed out by the league, also true. Also true. The weather was going to level it. The Steelers, I think, are better built to win a game like that. We know how the Bills look in 50-mile-an-hour winds, Cerrone. We've seen it with our own eyes, the Patriots fans. It's still supposed to be kind of nasty. It's going to be, freezing temperatures, sub 20. It's still going to be snowing. Winds are going to be closer to the 30s, but it's just going to be more cleared out. The Bills are still 10.5-point favorites. Obviously, low total, 37. Steelers should cover that because I don't know if you're scoring enough points to win the game by 10.5. Either team, I think the Steelers can win this one too.
I think they're banking on the Steelers turning the ball over. I think that it's the whole Rudolph thing. I think they're banking on him giving a couple to Buffalo and them getting points that way. But they were bailed out when I saw the video of that game. I'm like, oh, that's an even matchup now. This is Josh Allen. It takes away everything his arm is all about if you see that kind of wind. And the way the Steelers have been running the ball the last few weeks, I think would have played right into that. But they were bailed out. But I think Buffalo wins this game. I'm just worried about them having a super short week, whoever they face next week. I think they'll have 2 less days or something like that to prepare for whoever they play coming up next weekend.
Nobody gets bailed out like the Buffalo Bills, I'll say that. And then finally, it's Monday night, the Eagles and the Bucks, the 11-6 Eagles at the 9-8 Bucks. What was that?
Nick Sirianni, they stopped the game because he's outside the coach's box.
Oh, right.
He says, I know what the F I'm doing. I can be down here.
There's a mic'd up of Bill doing that, too. I saw the other day. I call this the nobody wants to be here bowl. I don't think either of these teams are very interested in playing. Well, the Bucs maybe a little bit. The Eagles season, for all intents and purposes, is over. They could win this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. But they've got much bigger fish to fry, it sounds like, than this playoff game.
Yeah, it's how the mighty have fallen, man. I mean, this in months, a couple months, would they start off 10-1 or something like that? And now we're looking at them like, man, just get it over with. I mean, they should win this game against Tampa, but it would be. I'm not saying somebody should get fired, but if you fall off this bad during the season and lose to the Bucs, I think something. There should be a shakeup coming. But Philly should win this game and then get destroyed by whoever they play next week.
It is not easy to sustain success in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And let that be a lesson learned for everybody talking about, for the next 10 years. Perfect example here is thrown. Over the summer, we were talking about the AFC East was the best division in football. What happened?
Yeah.
Injury, fraud, Patriots.
Oh, look at the Patriots' schedule before the season.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The Chargers, oh, my God. What are they going to do? You know, I mean, the Eagles they're going back to the championship. The whole schedule was just, it ended up being so weak compared to what we thought it was going to be in September. And like you said, I mean, the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are still kind of holding on, but your window was really short. And that goes back to the success of the Patriots and Belichick, Brady, whoever. The league is not set up for that, and you're never going to see that again.
617-779-0985. You want to join us to talk football? Will any of these playoff games impact Bill Belichick's future? We'll get into that next on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We just can't be a bunch of front runners.
Fraud.